Yeah. Mr. Speaker.
Marama Fox.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I come to this House and say hallelujah, hallelujah, one more time, hallelujah. I'm going to congratulate the Minister for his procrastinated bravery, the government who have finally come to their senses, and we stand here to pass the plain packaging legislation that was introduced by my predecessor, Tariana Turia. And I'm not going to take too much out of the Minister, because actually we've engaged in some very good conversations about where can we go, the 10-year roadmap to take us to 2025. Oh, except that a year's gone by since we started that conversation, so now it's 9. But that's all right. We're going to put some plans in place to bring us to that point. But we're here today to celebrate the fact that we are going to usher in the next step, the next stage for plain packaging and the fight against tobacco. And why? Everybody knows why. Because half of us, as the previous speaker said, will die from smoking-related illnesses, and the other half will be sick. Those people who smoke, half will die, half will be sick and lead debilitating lives. 6 million people annually die around the world from smoking-related illnesses. And recently, yes, I was confronted with the spin doctor who gets to trip from country to country to country. Everywhere a country wishes to make legislation to cease the march to the urupa, this man is sent around the world to try and dissuade the conversation, to convince people that the black market is going to open up and people are going to be hurt, and therefore we should not do anything. We should just stop. And we have been accused of being a queer state. Well, I tell you now, to those members who accused us of being a queer state, that our queer were not impressed that they were being used in a derogatory way like that. And they asked me to make that point clear, and so I do. Because we should be proud to be considered queer in this country, because they are knowledgeable, they are wise, and they have made it to that status because they are still alive. There are a number of our whānau who are not alive. Just last night, Mr. Speaker, I was visited by Campbell Knox, who 2 months ago buried his darling wife who had smoked for 40 years. He came to bring me his wishes to tackle tobacco control in this country. He said she tried everything. She was non-stop trying the e-cigarettes. She tried the patches. She tried cold turkey. She tried every cessation method out there and could not kick the habit. And eventually, she died trying. Today, I want to remember her and remember that conversation with her husband. And her name is Memory. Her husband said to me, "Marama, we must do more for our rising generation, that they don't have to make the choice that my wife could not." And the incentives for our rising generation is an incentive of hope and brightness of a future where young people today do not have to choose to give up because they never started. When we put taxation in place, we put it out of the reach of young people to spend $20 to $30 on a packet of cigarettes. We must make further steps. If we pass legislation after the procrastinated bravery, but bravery nonetheless, of bringing in plain packaging, well, what about smoke-free cars with children? What about voluntary smoke-free communities? What is the next suite of activities that we can herald in to ensure that our young people do not face the same future of Campbell Knox's wife, Memory, having spent the last 2 years clinging on to every minute to try and spend some more time with her children and grandchildren? Mr. Speaker, I commend the bravery of the Minister to the House along with this bill.